So, good show. My name is Diana Guzman. I'm from Mexico, and I am going to be explaining my proposals for the astronaut training. So, when we want to go to Mars, there are certain things that we need to have in mind, and certain things that I need are crucial for every Marsonaut to know. Of course, I think all of us maybe watched the movie The Martian or read the book, and we can see that every single member of the crew should know at least all the basics of some of the skills of the others. For example, the botanic one should know how to operate on himself, or maybe the engineer should know at least the basics of how to fly or help the pilot fly. So those are some basic things that at least they should be experts on. So we start with the mission 126. I'm Guzman. So the roles in a mission, as always, should be the commander. The commander is the one that checks everything. It is responsible for the mission success, the safety of the crew, and the safety of the station. It's just basically the person that sees through everything, and she or he needs to keep everything under control. I propose at least 2 engineers. One of them should be a flight engineer, and the other one should support him, because I have been in engineering projects and it's too difficult making one alone. So there should always be 2. I am an aeronautical engineering student, so I know from personal experience how that should work. There should be at least 1 medic, but there should be like a backup medic, because maybe what if something happens to the medic, who's going to check on the medic? But everyone else should know at least the basics of first aid and basic operating. And yeah, that there should be, as we're going to Mars, there should always be someone that knows how to make the food regrow. So 1 botanic, 1 biologist at least. And of course, we should always in our analog missions have a mission control outside of everything that is happening. So I have 2 proposals for the communication training. One of them is the communication training during the trip while simulating the journey. So when for example, it should be, let's say 3 months. 3 months of the astronauts traveling from Earth to Mars. So they are going to be 3 months locked in a capsule, a habitat. So every time that the capsule starts going to Mars, it takes about 5 to 10 minutes for a radio signal between Earth and Mars to arrive. It depends on the planet's position, but we should take that into consideration and simulate the delays. So maybe if the crew needs something, but there should be a delay, a 5-minute delay, a 10-minute delay, a 1-minute delay, so they can know what to do in these kinds of situations. So they don't have a way of communicating with the outside world in the immediate moment. So I think that should be an interesting case scenario. And in another mission, maybe a separate one, maybe the follow-up to this last one, I think, I don't know if in Habitat Marte there are, but every member should have a walkie-talkie all the time, everywhere, even if they are in the bathroom, even if they are outside. They being anywhere they are, they should have walkie-talkies, and they should be able to talk to each other all the time. Maybe if they need anything, or in this case, for example, in the psychological that I think we are going to see tomorrow. But I think the astronauts, as they are all experiencing the same thing, the same isolation, they should be able to talk to each other, not only through walkie-talkies, but just, hey, commander, do you have a moment? I need to talk to you. I feel this and this and this. They should have a training for emotional support and emotional control. That. So it's not in the in the in the program, but I wanted to add a survival training. So whenever we are in the desert doing analog missions, I think a good analog situation could be handling sandstorms. Sandstorms on Earth are stronger than on Mars, so it should be like harder conditions here. So astronauts should know that before going to Mars. The storms are not that strong, but still, we don't want something like the Martian to happen to anybody. Rock climbing. Mars is mostly a deserted island. Well, island zone, but astronauts should know how to rock climb with big suits on. They should know how to hike, and every morning they should take long walks, because mostly the traveling in Mars is going to be walking with very strong suits on, maybe an oxygen tank, so they should be used to walking a lot. Another one, in Habitat Marte, there is a new pool, so I think there should be a training for deep breathing, for deep breath. So maybe they should take only in one breath, because maybe let's suppose that the space suit broke or the helmet broke and they cannot breathe. So they should be able to take a deep breath and maybe hold it for, I don't know, let's start with 1 minute. And then as the free divers go, they can maybe try keeping their breath with the time for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So they can, if there is an emergency, they can maybe get back somewhere or fix their suits with only one breath. They should know navigation and mapping. That is another proposal that I don't know if Habitat Marte does it, but the crew should know how to navigate. The compasses don't work the same way in Earth and in Mars, so they should know how to use the navigation in Mars. They should know how to use the moons for navigation, and they should always be mapping and see what has changed. In the cave trainings, I think the most important part is testing how is it not sensing the passing of time. If you can't see the sun, you're very disoriented. So I think that is a very good psychological experiment. As I said before, all of the astronauts should know first aid. They should all be at least emergency medical technicians, and they should have trainings on how to operate themselves or how to sew a wound or something on themselves, as in The Martian. I love that movie. So they should also all know or practice something like creative engineering and shifting. For example, they have to turn, they have an old motorbike, or they have an old solar panel. So they should use it to build something else. For example, with the motorbike, they should build a bicycle, because they should be able to reuse everything. So if there is something that isn't working in the ship anymore and there's no use for that, let's give it a use. Let's try to make it something different, a bicycle, and we can travel some distance easier, or maybe make it some exercise machine, or I don't know, using their creativity. So they should always be working on their creativity. That is something very important for engineers. They should always have a journal, maybe a private journal that they should only share with the psychologist, or maybe with the commander, or maybe just with the mission control on the outside. And they should have a public journal, with which I'll show you later, that maybe they can share on their social medias. Like, so today we did this and that and that. I think the most efficient one should be a video journal. Those are the ones that we always see, but sometimes writing is very therapeutic. I think they should take paleontology courses, not only because maybe there are fossils in Mars, I don't know, but just they should paleontology and I forgot the name, but the study of rocks, geology, but Marsology. Well, the geology for Mars. They should know how to see rocks. They should know, this is this kind of rock, this is that kind of rock. Oh, look, this is a shark teeth. What is a shark doing? What is a shark doing in Mars? But so they should, I don't know, I think they should know how to test. Of course they should know, but how to see, they should take any course they can. And programming is very important, because if something fails, well, they have the engineers, but I think everybody should know what if the engineer is outside and something is happening with the main machine, with the main computer. So all of them should know what to do. So for the communication, I recently watched a video about the astronauts that are currently up there, talking about some of the hand signs that they use. So for example, they use very military hand sign. So they should all know. I mean, they say that they know it because they are up there all the time. They watch movies, but I don't know if they have a specific training of like the code of the sign communication. So I don't know if in astronaut school they say, okay, this is hold or stop, and this is okay. I think for divers this is also okay, because this is up and this is down. So this is okay. So that's like general knowledge, common sense. But maybe they should have a code. They should know how to count with only one hand, because maybe if they are in a spacewalk, they should be hanging on to something with one hand and signaling something else with their hands. So they all should have a code, and they should know what it is. Maybe using the same military code, or maybe using the American Sign Language. Yeah. And of course, as they are working all together, they should know like the body language of each one. So they should know, oh, this person is having a problem. What's happening? They should at least know that. And here we have this social media training. So I think that in Mars, there should be an internet satellite at least, or we should find a way of communicating. I'm sure that there is going to be, when we start sending people to Mars, there should be internet there. So when the astronauts are there, they should be able to share what they're doing with the world, because the world is going to be very, very interested. Right now, we are having all of Earthlings are experiencing something called the fever of space. So everybody is very interested in that. So the mission should have their own Instagram account and Twitter account, where they at least once a day should share something, an advancement. Maybe, a morning routine in an astronaut lives in Mars. I don't know. A post of that, or maybe an explanation about a phenomenon. So for example, this is how objects fall in Mars. So we have this and that, as the one they did on the moon. And oh, look, they fell at the same time. Wow. In Mars has gravity as well. Yay. And every now and then, they should have a virtual workshop, maybe for kids or maybe for adults with a kid's heart. And yes, they should teach them how to do something or how to survive, or this is what I use when I am feeling sad. And of course, there is always going to be media wanting to chat with them, wanting to have interviews with them, but they should prepare the interview. For example, if they are going to have an interview, they should have mock interviews. For example, the commander should start asking questions and all of them should be in the same page. That this happened, this other thing happened. They should always be having good attitude. So they should talk with each other to see, hey, how are you feeling today? Are you sure you want to give that interview today? If not, this other person can take it for you. Yes, please, I just want to sleep all day today. And I think at least there should be at least one interview every month, and that is too much. Maybe one interview a week should be good. But yes, at least once a month. And this is something interesting that I found in a YouTube channel called Venture City. So this is they proposed that the astronaut training for Mars should last 3 years. And in those 3 years, it's like a college, like a university or a degree. And this is what every astronaut, doesn't matter what they study, what they majored in, they should all know at least the basics of this. So payload deploying, mechanical maintenance, sanitation system, food systems, orbital mechanics, they all should know that. Propulsion, engineering, at least a little basics, robotics, and reprogramming computers, as we said earlier, programming. And yes, all of that. They should know it because if something happens, they should know what to do. They should have they should be organized. So they should put down notes, they should track deadlines, they should have a schedule, they should all wake up together at the same time, they should all be tracking all the relevant changes. They should all have a very specific and very good organization training, because days in Mars are different than days on Earth, and maybe they are trying to get used to that, or maybe the time on Earth is a little bit different. So they should have a very specific kind of organization to kind of match that. They should always, every day, doesn't matter how many years pass. So people of different skills need to work together. I have been in projects working with a team, and maybe we all had the same skills, so it wasn't a very good team, and we ended up not knowing some things. The best teams I have been in have been the, how do you say it in English? Well, people with multi-skilled team. So maybe I know how to write a document, and someone else knows how to program, and somebody else is very good with talking with people. So those are the kinds of teams that I really enjoy, and the ones that pay off better. So I think these astronauts, as they are going to be living in their own planet for a very long time, they should at least know how to work with each other. They should like each other, and they should trust each other. They should at least have breakfast together, work at the same time, work out together, wake up at the same time, and watch a movie every weekend, maybe. Have a small kind of party together where they can just talk and be themselves. And yes. And the contributions to the SDGs in English. In Spanish, it's ODS. But I think the most important ones for Martianauts training should be number 4, quality education. So they should be very, very, very good educated. And as a person that is educated, a person that has education, they have a responsibility of sharing that education and all their findings with people. All of the workshops that they might be doing, they should share them with the world and encourage the young people and the old people as well to be interested in that. As the teams are going to be of all kinds of gender, female, male, and the other 20 that I don't know, there should always be gender equality. So I have known of some analog missions that friends of mine have been to, where there has been very uncomfortable for the girls. So I think that whenever we decide which crew is going to go, they should all be super respectful with each other, because if not, somebody's going to have a very bad time, and we don't want our first suicide in Mars be 2 years after they arrive. Also, sustainable cities and communities. Well, of course, whenever people start going to Mars, they should be very, very sustainable. They are basically living all by themselves, so they should be self-sufficient. The 15th, life on land. Well, they are going to be living in land, and they should have a quality life. And the 17th is partnerships for the goals. So I'm absolutely sure at least half of the world is going to want to have a partnership with the people that are going to be in Mars. They are going to be wanting to talk with them and maybe do projects together. Maybe they say, hey, astronauts there, did you know that there is a new movie? Do you want me to send it to you? And the astronauts, oh yes, please. Is it with Tom Cruise? Oh, of course, of course. Every Tom Cruise movie. There you go. Thank you. You made my day. So yes, I think, and also this is a teamwork. So if all the world is not together in it, it's going to be very, very hard. And that would be everything in my part. Thank you.